Hi everybody, my name is David. I'm a KOK-PLAY Frontier from the Genesis Group. Today I want to give you guys some KOK-PLAY news. And this is news that will, you'll see how it'll impact KOK-PLAY. Alright, so this is another article by Blockchain Today. Okay, I had to translate it because as you all know, my Korean isn't all that great. So once again, if the translation isn't perfect, I'm sorry, but it is what it is, right? All right, so let's get started. Blockchain Today reporter Han Ji-he, cryptocurrency exchange KuCoin, recently announced that cryptocurrency transactions increased by up to 2,670% in 2022, as some African countries' adoption of virtual currency grew rapidly, and that's a beautiful thing. Okay, according to KuCoin's report released by Cointelegraph on the 21st local time, this surprising growth rate stems from the low use of cryptocurrency in African countries. As a result, the number of cryptocurrency transactions on the African continent accounted for about 2.8% of global transactions. Africa's adoption of virtual assets will continue to increase exponentially, KuCoin CEO Johnny Liu told Cointelegraph. African countries have the highest adoption rate of cryptocurrency, beating the United States, Europe, and Asia. Nero, founder of Bitcoin Senegal, said, "See the amazing growth of automobiles, mobile phones, and home appliances in Africa. Africa grows like lightning and adapts to new technologies." He then stressed the 1,000% growth rate of Bitcoin BTC adoption will continue over the next few years. Now, we all know one thing about Africa, like that continent is just so blessed with so much natural resources. Granted, you do have countries trying to take advantage of certain countries in the African continent to try to get those resources for a much underappreciated price for what it's really worth. And not only do you have stronger governments taking advantage of those countries or areas, you probably have companies as well. However, Africa is a sleeping giant. One thing about Nigeria is considered the sleeping giant of Africa. And when they get it together, I mean, they're just going to boom. And so definitely, without a doubt, you see technology is advancing. It's getting more and more adopted in Africa. And you have young men and women. They are hungry. And, you could say some are hungry in the literal sense, but I'm talking about they're hungry to really just thrive and advance and, accumulate wealth, work hard, and just, be very productive. And so obviously they're going to adopt cryptocurrencies because one is safer. And, you have countries in Africa where the banking system isn't all that good. Sometimes the currencies are not stable. And so you have something like cryptocurrency is going to really help transactions and probably even bring more stability than their own currency and safety, and allow people to use cryptocurrencies as a form of banking. Oh yeah, without a doubt. So that's one thing, you have certain coins or tokens. It's purposely set up for countries where the banking system isn't that good, but they want something more, you could say, trustworthy to hold their money. That way it could hold its purchasing value over time, but also safety that they won't get robbed. And obviously cryptocurrencies do provide that, because you could just buy cryptocurrencies, hold it on an account, and no one can just take it from you because you're not holding the physical. Now, obviously there are cases where the physical is better than the digital, but also there are cases where, the digital is better than the physical. So you gotta spread out your portfolio where you have a good safe amount of both, in worst case situation of one or the other. But obviously Africa is a continent with endless potential. And so this is extremely good. And it's extremely good that KuCoin has blown up this much in Africa. Now I'm going to go further into why. So let me keep reading. KuCoin's report said more than 88.5% of Africans' cryptocurrency transactions were cross-border remittances. All right, cross-border, international is what I believe that is, yeah? With a fee lower than 0.01. That's cheap. Of the total amount of cryptocurrency transactions. So like, if you're transacting using something like XRP, TRX, Tron, XLM, obviously you could send so much money cross-border and the fee is so low, and then you could, sell it into Tether right away, and, sell that into the right currency that you needed to sell it to, and then put it in a bank account or whatever else you want to choose to do. And obviously, that's probably what they're doing in Africa, right? And they're saving lots of money. Once again, it's safer than whatever you're trying to do if you don't have a good banking system, all right? And sometimes it's cheaper, it might be even safer than the banks, depending on where you're at. You never know. All right, let me continue. However, CEO Jordi Ryu, I don't know, sorry if I probably butcher the name, warned that the huge growth rate of cryptocurrency use in some African countries may vary depending on the attitudes of local policymakers and individual officials. Absolutely. All right. You're going to have some policymakers that they'll be anti-crypto. Probably in most cases, if they're anti-crypto, it's a threat to them. But maybe you might have some, maybe they're anti-crypto for security reasons. They might have their reasons for that. But anyway, absolutely, it all depends on the policymakers. That does play a big role. However, he expressed his position that the future of cryptocurrency on the African continent is bright. For example, the adoption of Bitcoin is increasing due to the distrust and anxiety of CFA, a currency used by 14 Central and West African countries. In a previous article, Cointelegraph analyzed, and remember, I don't really know much about CFA, but if you have 14 and West African countries using it and people are not happy about it, once again, you gotta think why. All right, and probably maybe it's not stable, it's not safe, maybe the bank system isn't all that good. I mean, there could be lots of reasons, and they got problems, and because they have those type of problems, crypto is really meant to solve problems. Remember, the fundamental of all businesses, what makes a business successful is, does the business solve problems? All right. You want to be successful in business, you got to be able to solve problems. And you got to solve problems where it's effective, it out competes the competition, the quality of how you solve the problem, it has to be better than the competitors. The price, all of that has to come in. If you're not solving a problem, you're not going to be a successful business. You open up a restaurant, what are you trying to solve? You're trying to solve people this problem of hunger and what they want to eat. And so if you're customizing your restaurant to people who are hungry and they want to eat whatever Italian food, but you're solving the problem where the Italian food is better, there's more quantity of food, the quality is better and it's cheaper and all that, the service, the people are more friendly, all of that, then when you solve that problem in a more positive, easier, better method, obviously your restaurant is going to be more successful than others. And well, thing about cryptocurrencies, a lot of people don't understand, really, you do have a lot of scam coins, but a lot also, like, you have legit coins, legit companies like KuCoin, where they're really just trying to solve problems because they see problems and they want to solve it because other companies just aren't, right? And that's why that's the benefits of cryptocurrency. They're trying to solve the problems of what fiat currencies have. CEO Johnny Ryu analyzed that Africa's economic problems, such as increased inflation, huge unemployment, poor access to banking services, and high fees for external payments, are creating an environment favorable for the growth of cryptocurrencies. Why? Because these are all problems. And cryptocurrencies are trying to solve these problems where you do, even if you don't have access to a bank to store your wealth, you could do it through cryptocurrencies. You want to send money overseas, but you don't want to pay the high fees, you can use cryptocurrencies. Okay, so maybe you want to beat increased inflation. You want the money that you have to hold its purchasing power over time, but you see that it's not holding its purchasing power over time because inflation is going up, which means the purchasing power of your currency is going down. And how do you solve it? Well, you just got to get in the right cryptocurrencies, right? So Africa also has a young population with an average age of 19. That is incredible because if you look at a lot of other continents, especially in the more developed tier one nations, right? If you're an industrialized nation, you'll notice the average age is getting old. And it's really sad. But Africa, the average age is 19. That is incredible for its future. Advantages that more than 40% of the population is urban. So you see that Africa has lots of potential and they're using KuCoin, right? Now, why is this important? Well, let me explain to you why it's important. If we look at KuCoin exchange, what coin, well, not what coin, but what does KuCoin have? KuCoin has KoCoin, all right? And I don't worry about the price going down. I told you guys, if you watch my video for KoCoin, I explained the price ranges, and yeah, there's going to be volatility. And obviously, we're seeing volatility. It's not a big worry, all right? Now, but KuCoin, the exchange has KoCoin. And why that is so beneficial is because if you have a lot of people in Africa, they're using KuCoin, and that means they have accessibility to buy KuCoin, right? And why is that important? Because in this this video here, okay,
Instead of utilizing dollars,
now
Canadian.
this channel by Mr. Sung Kap Yong, all right, and he's incredible. Like, you should watch his videos. You should really watch this video because it's translated into English. But he specifically says that KuCoin is really working on spreading into the continent of Africa and Indonesia and other countries where they're really developing and there's so much potential. And this video might be over 3 months ago, but just remember the concept of KuCoin moving into the African continent, Indonesia, and all these other developing nations or continents has been a goal of KuCoin for, over a years, I believe. So you already see that KuCoin is working on trying to get into the African continent. And they're on the exchange that a lot of African people are using that are involved in cryptocurrencies. So, people in Africa can actually not only join the Coke family, but also purchase Coke coins. And so when you have a population where the average age of a whole continent is 19, with a bright future of advancements in technology, you got a whole continent that's going to be joined, has a good chance of joining KOK-PLAY, joining the Coke family. And once again, KOK-PLAY is trying to open up opportunities for not only just people to go, shopping or communicate with each other, but also opportunities for them to really, I believe, will be making an income, making a living, okay? Financial opportunities, all right? So keep that in mind. So that's why this article is extremely positive for KuCoin, that, people in Africa are using KuCoin as an exchange, and KuCoin has lots of KOK-Coin. I mean, you can purchase KOK-Coins on KuCoin. So, and, once again, KuCoin or the Coke platform, one of the continents and that really KOK-PLAY wants to focus on is in Africa. I'm sorry for the mix-up of words right now. My foster dog, this dog that I'm watching for 6 months, he's right next to me. He's really like pressing up on me to, pet him and stuff. So I'm trying to do, I'm multitasking, right? But anyway, so sorry about that, everyone. Look, everyone, please take good care of yourself. You want to prepare for the future. Obviously, inflation is probably going to get worse, and there's going to be food shortages. Depending on where you are, you might get hit with 2 types of food shortages, on not like every type of food, but maybe like on certain products, like wheat. And 2 types will be: 1, there'll be a shortage where you can't buy it, or 2, there'll be a shortage where the inflation's so high that you can't afford to buy it. So it's pretty much a shortage of for it not being there to you. You get what I'm saying? And it might, it might come to you like that. So you want to prepare for what's probably going to be a tough 2022 later, which is this year, a tough 2023, which is next year, and probably going into 2024. Yeah, I'm just being realistic now. Remember, I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not telling you what to do. I am telling you what I'm doing, and I'm giving you reasons why. All right. So also, please take good physical care of yourself. Please take good mental care of yourself, and absolutely, please take good spiritual care of yourself. Also, let's praying for the Ukrainian citizens, and and also the Russian citizens. Okay, because citizens don't start wars. All right, politicians do. And, to be fair about this whole thing, if you go back to the agreements between the United States or NATO and Russia, yeah, Putin invaded Ukraine, but he's not the only guilty party. Okay, he's not the only guilty party. In fact, I don't like to, show these type of things. Okay, so here, this is in 1990, James Baker, the U.S. Secretary of State. What does he say? He says, if the United States keeps its presence in Germany within the framework of NATO, not an inch of NATO's present military jurisdiction will spread in an eastern direction. Okay, what are they saying? At the time of 1990, all the countries that are part of NATO will stay in that side. They're not going to move closer to Russia. So NATO will not accept any more countries that are getting closer to Russia. That was in 1990. Okay, they said that. All right, let's look at this one. This is Manfred Warner, NATO Secretary General, July 1991. The NATO Council and he are against the expansion of NATO. 13 out of 16 NATO members support this view. They said this, okay? They said this, all right? Now let's look at one more. This is the German Chancellor, 1990, February 10th. We believe that NATO should not expand its scope. We have to find a reasonable resolution. I correctly understand the security interests of the Soviet Union, and I realize that you, Mr. General Secretary, and the Soviet leadership will have to clearly explain what is happening to the Soviet people. So they made a deal, okay? And let's look even here. The near future at his meeting was El Walsi and the Romanian leader and whatever. He will oppose Poland and Romania joining NATO. And earlier, this is stated to Hungary and Czechoslovakia. We should not allow, stated Warner, the isolation USSR. So they said all this, and guess what? They kept getting closer and closer. And if you say something, you got to keep your word. They didn't keep their word. So is it all just Putin? No, obviously NATO had a big role in why, Russia's President Putin did what he did. Once again, I'm just stating facts. I grew up in the States. Really, I just, because I grew up in the States, I got family in the States. I wish America would win every time. But that's just a biased opinion because you live there and you have family there. But if you took the feelings and the bias out and just you looked at it like, let's say you just came from another planet and you looked at the data, the information, and you go, oh, obviously they're all guilty. Okay, and I hate to say it, maybe NATO's even more guilty of anything. So I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it. I showed you. I'm just saying it how I see it. Okay, so please look it up. It is what it is. All right. I hate to say it like that. So let's pray for the citizens and help take care of the citizens. We do have, if I recall correctly, we have, you know, KOK-PLAY family members in Russia, and I hope they're taking advantage of KOK-PLAY coins, where in order for them to survive and live at least somewhat of a life that they were living before the invasion, Russia invading Ukraine, that they do what they have to do to sell some tokens or sell some KOK-PLAY coins and change it into the ruble. And trust me, if they're doing it, they're absolutely happy and they're so glad that they joined KOK-PLAY because it's definitely helping them right now. All right, so just keep that in mind. Everyone, please stay safe. God bless y'all. Okay, I'm praying for y'all. And of course, KOK on.